Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Azren, the language nerd here. I'm the owner of the Calgary Language Nerds, and welcome to another video in this series on how to learn another language. For those of you who are going through this, relatively speaking, in real time, I apologize that it has been a little while since I've actually posted a video and added a video to this course here. The honest answer is that there's a lot on my plate. There's a lot on my plate, and sometimes I have to prioritize. I have to prioritize family. I have to prioritize friends. I have to prioritize something else at work. I have to prioritize extra sleep or prioritize my health. There's always something that has to be prioritized. And I took a few weeks where I prioritized other things. Even right now, so it's July as I'm recording this video. And this month I'm running a summer camp for the whole month. And I've basically added in an extra 10 hours of teaching in the summer camp. I've added an extra 10 hours to my plate per week that, to be honest with you, isn't exactly there. I used to spend that time on making or preparing these videos and making sure I'm prepared from them and other parts of my work. So just a reality of how life is sometimes. I think you guys can probably relate. So let's continue off. Let's continue from where we left off. I'll share my screen as I always do. Dun, 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 dun. Bear with me one moment. There we go. Share screen. Okay, that's way too small. So last time, let's zoom in a bit here. Last time we talked about tourism and public transportation. And today, or tourism, and the category of tourism was public transportation. Today, I'm going to try and do 2-in-1. We'll see if I can. If not, it is what it is. Today, we're going to continue in this whole unit of tourism, and I'm going to put it under this and we're going to talk about taking a taxi. As always, we have some vocabulary. So you're going to book a lesson with your tutor or speaking partner and label the pictures below together in your target language. You're more than welcome to add any other words in the additional notes section. And as always, don't forget to practice the pronunciation. The vocabulary for the section is taxi, taximeter. That's the thing that measures calculates how much you owe the taxi driver. How much is the fare? Do you accept credit cards? Keep the change? A tip? Do you know where blah, blah, blah is? How far is blah, blah, blah place? By the way, on this page, just so you know, in the final version of this book, I've edited some of the spacing to make it a little bit easier to actually write the answers because the spacing is quite tight, especially on these top two sections here. So on the final version of these workbooks, if for those who purchase them, I've made some more space. You can actually write. Oh, drop me off here also does have a picture. I promise you it does in the final version of the book. It just doesn't have one here. So drop me off here. It's over there. And then of course we have left and right. So that's the vocabulary. There is no writing practice. No writing practice in this section of the book. When you're in a taxi, you're probably not going to be writing all that much. However, there is a speaking practice. You're going to book a time with your tutor or speaking partner and role play the following scenario. You want to take a taxi to some tourist attraction, whether it be the Eiffel Tower, whether it is whatever it is. Ask your tutor or language partner the following questions. I'd like to go to such and such place. Maybe it's the Eiffel Tower, for example. Do you know how to get there? How much will it cost? So you're talking to the taxi driver and you're asking them, taxi driver, Mr. Taxi Driver, how much would it cost to go to this place? How far is, for instance, the Eiffel Tower from here? Can I pay by credit card? I'll even add a little note after here. Can I pay by credit card or do you only accept cash? And of course, any other questions that you think would be useful to know in a taxi driver. Really use your brain and think, what would I want to know? What would be useful when taking a taxi in another country? I have a second role play here as well, where you're going to book a time with your tutor or speaking partner, and you're going to role play this scenario. So you're in a taxi and the driver is making small talk with you. I find this happens reasonably often when I've taken taxis or Ubers, for instance. So you're going to practice having some small talk. So you can ask and, of course, answer the questions I've listed down here. Where are you from? How long will you be staying here? What tourist attractions have you seen so far? What would you recommend I see before I go home? Of course, you can invent 5 other questions. There's so many small talk questions that could be asked. So invent at least 5 others. I would also encourage you to ask your tutor or your speaking partner to give you different variations of these questions. For example, if we look at this one here, this third question, what tourist attractions have you seen so far? That question can be phrased many ways. I might say to you, where have you been so far? What have you seen so far? What I might say to you, what attractions have you visited? What places have you been to so far during your stay in Calgary? There's a variety of ways to phrase that question where it's still the same question. It's just that the taxi driver used different words. So I would learn some different variations of each of these questions too. And of course, we have our video practice, and this one's going to require a demo, and this requires a little bit of YouTubing or Googling skills. You're going to watch a few videos on YouTube where someone is actually taking a taxi, and you're going to listen to that dialogue. I've written in this workbook here that a few search queries you can use will be demonstrated in the video for this unit. So let me show you. I'm going to stop my screen share and then restart my screen share. And I'm going to show you a few things you might search. As I said, this will require some, what's the word? Some good Googling skills or YouTubing skills. So share my screen. Okay, so let's go to YouTube. Now, I don't know what kind of search queries you're going to need here, but it's going to be different for every single person. But there's some strange suggestions on this page here. That's kind of funny. Anyway, I'm signed into one of my other accounts here. So anyway, so what a strange, I'm just looking at these search. What account am I in? Oh, I'm in my Calgary language. What is this account? I don't know who is using this account. Like, I don't know. Do you know what's funny as I'm looking at this? So this account, I haven't done these search queries. Kind of funny. There's a couple of my tutors who use this account here, and they use it for something that's not related. Like basically, they use it for something, and I think they just didn't sign out. So there's all these things in these videos here, which is very interesting. Anyway, so let's search, for example, let's stick in French because obviously this is all French here. There's a few things you can search. You can try something like, I'd search in the target language, conversation, like taxi, like just conversation taxi, and then French, en français. Right, and let's see what comes up. Here we go. There's some instructional videos here, like taking a taxi, French for beginners. There might be some listening practice here. Here's a conversation video right here, right? You might try some synonyms. You might try dialogue, see what happens. Dialogue. See if something's, oh, look at this. This is different. Dialogue en français, numéro 74, dans un taxi. That's cool, right? You might get something there. Here's another dialogue right here. Wow, there's lots actually, more than I thought there'd be. If we search something in like another thing you might try in English, let's say, is like vlog in a taxi. So you can always search for vlogs. You'd be shocked what kind of videos people make. So look at all these vlogs, right? Now the vlog might not be about taxi conversations, right? But you might get to hear some taxi conversations because it took place in a taxi, right? Matthew's taxi vlog, banking, business, perfect, right? If we try something in Spanish, like blog en un taxi. That didn't really work, did it? Well, that didn't really work. That clearly didn't work. Okay, that'll happen sometimes. Let's try vlog en un taxi Colombia. Let's try adding a Spanish-speaking country. Okay, taxista irresponsable. So that's interesting, right? Here's some, I don't know what this Bolivian guy is, but you might get to hear a little bit of some taxi conversations here. Oh, okay, interesting. A day in Bogota as a tourist. Probably not that one. Okay, well, what is it? What is this? How to get, like, this is very strange. Okay. Right, you might search something like conversación en un taxi, maybe. See what comes up. There we go. We got some videos here. So you're looking in your target language and you're trying different search queries, right? And you will find something. Let's say you're stuck, right? Let's say you're like, let's go to DeepL. Let's say I'm searching in like, Mandarin or something. And I'm Mandarin, for example, is language I'm learning. And I'm like, man, how would I say like taxi conversation in Mandarin? Well, we go into DeepL or any similar translator. We find the language you're learning. So in this case, Chinese. Where is it? Here it is. I'll search taxi conversation, right? You're like, oh, that's how you say it. Okay, copy, paste, see what pops up. Now, some of this doesn't look some of this doesn't look super, what's the word? Useful per se, but whoa, what the heck? There's some strange videos here. Like, anyway, but try your best. Play with the search queries. You will find something. You will. You might get a little creative, but you should be able to find something. Let's reshare my screen back on the workbook document. Okay, here we go. So you're going to watch at least 3, and then you'll need to ask your language partner or your tutor for help, because I promise you, you're not going to understand everything they say. I promise you won't be able to. There's no reading practice for this unit, so we can skip that. And that takes us to the final extra notes page. Okay, let's do a double whammy. Let's do it at the airport at the same time. So vocabulary as usual. So you book a time with your tutor or speaking partner and you label these pictures below, right? If there's any additional words you learn, write them down as well in the additional notes section or wherever you're taking your notes. The words here we have are arrivals, departures, passport, to board a plane, to take off, to land, security check, gate number, suitcase, baggage claim, I lost my bag, customs, duty-free store, and check-in. Of course, there might be other words you learn, but these are the ones I've put as your starter kit. Some of these you'll notice there's not too much space to write under these words, but these have already been fixed in the finalized version of this book. It's already fixed, so you'll have ample space to write all these words here. Okay. Okay, this is difficult. So writing practice. When you land at the airport, you might have to fill out some forms. If you are lucky, well, not even lucky, most of the time, airports will have forms in English. Okay. So as I've written, more and more airports will have forms in English. However, there are times where it will be beneficial for you to fill out a form in the target language, right? Or sometimes there's times where a form in English will not be offered. They won't have any. Most of the time that shouldn't happen, but you never know in smaller airports, for example. So you're going to want to find the following forms online in the target language and try filling them out, right? You will probably need to ask your tutor or language partner to help you with this. I'll give you an example. I was in China and I lost the airline lost my luggage. There's a flight delay and my luggage ended up on some different flight. And I filled the form out in English because my Mandarin was like nothing at the time. But like, it would have been so much. I feel like it would have been easier if I spoke Mandarin, A, and even B, if I could have filled the forms out in Mandarin. Would have been a lot easier. A better example, actually, now that I'm talking this out loud and thinking this out loud, is the French example, and I speak French very well. So I filled out a form. Was it in France? Perhaps in Quebec. I think it was in, can't remember what country. Regardless, must have been France, perhaps. I can't remember now where it was, but that's okay. I filled out a form. It was in a French-speaking place, and I filled the form out in French because, listen, whoever is going to then, and because they lost my bag again, right? They lost my bag. It's happened to me a few times. They lost my bag, so I filled it out in French. And it's important to do that because, like, the person reading the form, even though the form's written in English, the person reading the form might not speak English, or they speak some, but it's way better off if you can actually write that in the target language and not in English. So being able to do that is a pretty important thing to do. It's practical and it's a good language practice. So you're looking for lost luggage forms. You're looking for declaration form, like custom declaration forms. Any other forms, I'll be honest, I couldn't think of any others when I was making this. These are the two I thought of, but there probably are other forms that I just haven't had personal experiences with that are good to know how to fill out. These are two that I've had a lot of personal experience where I've needed to fill declaration forms in another language, or at least be able to read it in the other language, for crying out loud, right? Lost luggage forms I've filled out many times. So let me show you how to find these kinds of forms. I will share my screen once more. Oh, I closed my internet browser. That's not very useful, Azren. You shouldn't do that. Okay, Safari. So let's go to Google. So, ooh, it's black. Look at that. So it's funny, I don't use this account. So it's funny to see whoever's using this account, like about a couple tutors, it's funny to see how they play with the settings. So what was I going to say? If we're looking, for example, for a declaration form, let's say it's in English, you simply search declaration form, whatever country, like sample, India, Canada, whatever, like India, doesn't matter. Go to images, and you'll find lots, right? You'll find lots and lots and lots. They should be in English, I would assume. Yeah, there we go. This looks like, I don't know what this is. Guidelines for international arrivals. That's not really what we're looking for. We're looking for something like this, right? Something more like this. Name of the passenger, passport number, nationality, date of arrival, flight number, number of baggage, including blah, blah. Are you bringing any of the following, right? Gold jewelry, gold bullion, meat and meat produce, blah, 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 blah. So ideally, you want to find this in your target language, but if you can't, which you might not be able to, it might be difficult, but if you can't, what you do is you simply grab one in English, right? You grab one that you find in English and you try to translate it, or you have your tutor or language partner translate it to the target language for you. And then you can simply go through it that way. Same with your lost luggage forms. For lost luggage forms, you will find them in English. I've tried finding them in other languages, and you can, but it can be much more difficult. But English, you tend to find them very, very easily. So here we go, lost luggage form, passenger property lost claim form, blah, 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 fill it out. Just translate it to the target language, try your best, or have your tutor or language partner do it, and then try to fill it out in the target language, right? That's one very easy alternative if you're unable to find one in the target language. Okay, that's your writing practice. Speaking practice, you're going to book a time with your tutor or speaking partner, and you're going to role play the following scenario. You are at the security check. The airport employee is giving you instructions and asking you various questions rapidly. Practice understanding and answering the following. This happens all the time. You have to be prepped for this. I've been through so many times where I wasn't, and it was just really stressful. Any liquids or gels in your hand luggage? Take off your shoes and put them in the bin. Any laptops, tablets, or large electronic devices in your bag or hand luggage? Passport and boarding pass, please. Any metal objects in your pockets? Raise your arms to the side, please. And did you pack your bag yourself? These are very common questions they ask you. You got to know these. You got to know these, and you got to be able to recognize them quickly because they don't speak very slowly in those customs lines or security lines. Another role play here is when you are at the customs, when you're clearing customs, okay? Or not clearing customs, the check-in process, sorry. You're clearing the check-in process. So they might ask you something like, where are you heading today? Would you like an aisle or window seat? Please place your bag on the scale. Your bags will be checked all the way to your final destinations. You have a stopover in such and such city, and you'll need to collect your bags there. You know, these are some very common ones. If you think of some others, you're more than welcome to practice with those. So do a role play with this multiple times and get used to that conversation. And then, of course, lastly, we have the clearing customs dialogue. Hopefully they should speak some English, but if not, you know, you might need to do this in the target language. I've had to before, and it's really hard when you don't speak the target language very well. So where are you flying from? Who are you traveling with? What's the purpose of your visit? Where will you be staying? What's the duration of your stay? What do you do for work? Do you have anything to declare? How much cash are you carrying? Have you visited this country before? Right? There's lots of others they ask, but these are 9 common ones that I've personally been asked all the time. Video practice is you're gonna watch some videos about airport procedures and or advice from travelers when at the airport. So let me show you a demonstration of what you're going to search. Back to the internet browser. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there we go. So we are going to go to YouTube as always. And you say, let's say we're searching like in English, right? We go airport, airport procedures for first-time flyers, for example. And you're gonna find lots of videos about it. Sometimes they're even made by the airports, which is kind of funny. I was watching one in French about it, right? Lots of videos. Let's say you're like, oh, I'm learning French. How do I say this in French? I don't know how to say this in French. Well, good news. You simply go to DeepL or any kind of similar translator, throw it in the translator, switch the language to the language you're learning, boom, copy paste, right? There you go. See what pops up. Oh, that didn't help. I didn't even read it. What does it say? Oh my goodness, what a strange translation. That's a very funny, what's that? Airport procedures for first time. Interesting translation, right? So you might copy paste and you don't really get what you're looking for, right? But you might say like, oh, this looks promising. Let's try this search query instead, right? Prendre l'avion pour la première fois. So copy, paste. Let's delete all this. See what happens. Boom. We have lots of videos here. Mon premier vol en avion. Comment prendre l'avion, right? We have lots of different videos here, right? And they'll be able to help you out. That's a great listening practice. And then also any kind of advice for travelers when they're at the airport. So you might search something like advice for travelers at the airport. Oops, at the Aprit airport. Right, and you're gonna find lots and lots of videos. You search on your target language. If you don't know how, use a translator, ask your language partner. You have lots of different options on how to figure it out. And that's what you're looking for. And you'll watch a few videos through that. As always, write down any new words. Use the guideline I've recommended when it comes to watching videos on YouTube. If you're not sure what we're talking about, I mentioned it in the 3 introduction videos for this course. It's an introduction video number 1, if I remember correctly. So feel free to go back and watch that. Okay, vamos. Vamos, chicos. All right. We have a reading practice where you're going to read 2 or more blogs or articles in your target language that give general advice, general travel advice and or advice for having a smooth experience at the airport. So the same search queries I just did on YouTube, you simply throw it in Google and you'll find blogs or articles about it. Ensure you're reading nice and slowly and aim to understand as much as you can. Ask your tutor or language partner for help because you might or probably will need it. And that takes us to the extra notes section. And next time we're going to talk about visiting the doctor. This is another big one. Man, I know someone who recently went for surgery in Mexico, and they do speak some Spanish, but they were not prepared for, it was a dental surgery. They were not prepared for having dental surgery in Spanish and communicating with the dentist, like not at all. And if you'd known a little bit before that, it would have been really helpful. So prepping for those kinds of emergencies is pretty important, I think. So, okay, everybody. It's 1 a.m. as I'm recording this. As you know, I make these quite late at night, so I'm a night owl. Have a fantastic day. I appreciate donations if you're enjoying this course and you're learning a lot from it. So donations, you can go to, in fact, I use a different link now. Like as I'm recording this, it's funny, some of the earlier videos, the donation link might have been a different one. I can't remember. Either way, on the home page of this course, you're going to find the donation link, or simply go to buymeacoffee.com/polyglot-Azren. This is the platform I'm using right now as I'm recording this video. You can also just go to azrenthelanguagenerd.com/free course. And I believe I have a donation button here. Do I? I do have a donation button. You can just donate right here. Click donate now. It takes you to the same page. All right. Have a nice day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.